Please be seated.
Be opened. Those are the words Jesus speaks when he cures the deaf man in Mark's Gospel. Be opened. Those words describe the imperative for mission and ministry, for Jesus himself and for us. How so? We find the answer in our Gospel lesson this morning. Jesus has been healing, performing exorcisms, and preaching in Galilee. His disciples have seen him still a storm, feed 5,000 people with 5 loaves and 2 fish, and walk on water. People react to him with astonishment and amazement. News about him spreads. Great crowds gather around him wherever he goes in Judah. But now, Jesus is exhausted. He seeks solitude and seclusion. What better place to go to get away from the Jewish crowds than to the Gentile territory of Phoenicia in the Roman province of Syria? He goes away by himself without his disciples. However, news about Jesus has spread even to Gentile territory. Somehow, a woman whose daughter is demon-possessed finds out where Jesus is staying. She comes to him, prostrates herself before him, and begs him to cast the demon out of her daughter. But Jesus seems reluctant to share the kingdom of God with a Gentile woman. His response hurts our ears. Let the children be fed first, for it's not fair to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs. In other words, Jesus tells her that his revelation of the kingdom of God is for the chosen people of God, the Jews. It isn't time for everyone else, the Gentiles, to share in the kingdom. Jesus is dismissive and insulting to her people, as he tells her that Israel has a superior claim on God's blessing over the Gentiles. But the woman doesn't back down, and she doesn't get angry. Instead, she is tenacious, and she turns Jesus' words around. Sir, even the dogs under the table eat the children's crumbs. Her daughter's life is at stake, and she asserts that even the crumbs of God's blessing are sufficient. Be opened, Jesus. God's grace is for everyone. Jesus sees the truth in what she says. He tells her, for saying that, you may go. The demon has left your daughter. Jesus can only agree that God's love and healing power, God's kingdom, is not confined within any ethnic, social, or political boundaries. Mark tells us that the woman went home, found the child lying on the bed, and the demon gone. The kingdom of God breaks into the world in places we least expect. Mark drives this point home when he records that Jesus returned to Galilee through the Gentile region of the Decapolis. During his journey, the Gentiles bring a deaf man with a speech impediment to Jesus and beg him to heal the man. Jesus takes the man aside. Be opened. And immediately the man can hear and speak plainly. The good news that Mark is sharing with the Gentile Christians to whom he's writing, and to us, is that God's kingdom is open to everyone, and God's grace is for everyone, Jew and Gentile. From Jesus' exchange with the Syrophoenician woman to his healing of the Gentile deaf man, Jesus rejects the boundaries of ethnicity, gender, or any other boundary we humans create to separate one from another. Jesus welcomes everyone who comes to him into the kingdom and extends God's love to them. Favoritism is contrary to the character of God. That's why in James, in his letter to the church, warns that if we make distinctions among people and show partiality, we transgress the commandment to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. Like Jesus, we are called to be open as individuals, be open to opportunities to serve others. Also, like Jesus, the church is to be open. Our mission is to welcome and accept all who come to Jesus without partiality. We're also called to embrace a larger vision of mission that extends beyond the spiritual nourishment we receive when we gather at 100 East Redbridge Road. We do that when we support the Redbridge Food and Necessities Pantry, or Kansas City Rescue Mission, or Kansas City Hospice House, or other partner organizations, and minister to people without partiality. And the bequest to renovate our kitchen challenges us to engage with our community to discern how this church can be the light of Christ in South Kansas City, a beacon of hunger relief, personal empowerment, and God's grace. God in Jesus shows no partiality, and neither